Hey guys, Everseen here. So today's video is going to be about the trial of Sekhemas because I actually find this easier than Ultimatum. It is quite difficult. I've been doing it on Melee, which has been making it even more difficult, but I thought I would make a full run video here to showcase how to sort of do it and give some tips and tricks on how I've been kind of progressing with it. So my old Relic setup, I'm actually shuffling them right now in the video. My old relic setup was definitely honor resistance, but I just didn't have a lot. So once you start doing a few trials, you'll actually drop quite a bit of relics. Make sure that you use an orbs of augmentation on these relics so that you can possibly hit the mods you want. So I basically just piled on honor resistance. I think I had like over 70% here, which is going to greatly help your chances when you're playing melee. Yeah, even in floor 3 in this run, like I was barely taking any honor damage, so that felt really good. Now, my main setup for Melee in Sanctum, as I like to call it, but it is a trial of the Sekhemas now, is I'm using Earthquake with Pin support. So, if anybody doesn't know, Pin basically replaces Stun and Stun buildup, and it turns into Pin and Pin buildup. So, basically what I'm trying to do is use Earthquake and pin enemies so that they can't really get to me. So this works really good on the Keth Beetles, and you'll see like all the way throughout this playthrough that it works really good. It works really good in the Hourglass rounds as well, where like there's tons of mobs everywhere, and just pinning things in place makes it a little easier to not get hit. So this is very unforgiving, this whole trial, especially for people who their mechanics just aren't that great. It's just important to learn like what the mobs do and what the traps do, and just kind of take your time, really. Make sure that you have like quite a bit of damage. I mean, I have a ridiculous amount of damage. I'm like almost level 80 here, and my Hammer of the Gods does like for like a million bleed every time I hit. But yeah, for melee, like Hammer of the Gods is awesome. You can cast Hammer of the Gods on the ritual encounters, and it pretty much just one-shots the portal as long as you don't put it in between the arch. For some reason, the hitbox doesn't work, and Hammer of the Gods actually won't uh, complete its damage. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's intended, but basically the two guardians that are guarding the relic altar, they are just LOS from the Hammer of the Gods, and you just don't do any damage. So the priority of rooms that I try to do are definitely like the ritual ones. I find these probably the more easy rooms. And then I also try to do the gauntlet ones because I find the traps aren't that bad as long as you have decent movement speed. So having like 30% movement speed, I think, is really going to help. If you only have like 20, that's okay. There's these little flame balls on the ground that if you trigger them and then try to roll out of them, it really favors movement speed on this. And if you don't have a lot, then you're definitely not going to dodge them. Now, for the Hourglass trials, I basically try to pick a corner that I think is going to be the best spot, and then I just sit there the whole time. And so this pin really comes in handy here because, like, we're not going to chase into mobs at all. We're going to let them come to us. We're going to pin them. They're going to maybe shoot projectiles. We can dodge them, but ultimately the pin works really well. And I've kind of been trying to kill the rares just to get the time down, but you don't have to hunt for the rares in these if you don't want to. You could literally just sit in the corner like I do in some of these rooms, and then you pretty much just have it all for free. Now, the escape trials are probably not that bad in floor 1, but in floor 2 and 3, they are pretty bad because the thing about it is you can't just take your time and kill the monsters. The monsters are just always going to be there, so you do take quite a bit of damage if you're running through trying to hit all these death altars, but it's just too overwhelming. Now, the other room that I really try to go for is Chalice rooms. I think they're the easiest ones to do because rares are trivial on Hammer of the Gods. You basically just cast it and they're dead. And you can take your time. You can just kill all the trash mobs, and then you can target the rares and kill them as well. But yeah, really try to avoid doing escape trials in floor 2 or 3. It gets way too hectic. Floor 2 is manageable, but floor 3, I don't even think I've completed one yet. And if you're trying to get your third ascendancy points like I'm doing in this video, you want to definitely go for like level 65 to 66 trials. I find them very easy. You could even go lower and go like 61, I think, but you'd have to farm like campaign zones, which sucks. One thing I took on the Atlas was Thirst for Knowledge, which gives me 40% increased chance of getting trials in desert biomes. So I just ran probably like 4 to 5 maps with this allocated and in the desert biome, and I ended up getting a trial. But yeah, basically honor resistance is key. If you have it, you're going to be fine. If you're doing melee like me, and I just think it's totally fine when you get enough honor resistance. So yeah, on bosses, I'm basically trying to Infernal Cry and then use my Hammer of the Gods to get the most damage. On the last boss, I missed my hammer twice. I did the exact same thing twice, like a dummy, but yeah. You basically just got to hit the first guy with Hammer of the Gods, and he'll go down, but then the second bosses, like, there's two of them, you kind of want to kite them together. I actually end up taking damage on their hits because I don't want to cancel my Hammer of the Gods because I know it's going to one-shot them. And then the third boss is just kind of self-explanatory. It moves a lot. It's really hard on melee to even get damage, so you really have to rely on your hammer hitting. Another thing, too, is that when the first boss spawns, he actually does, like, 3 shockwaves of fire damage. Basically, just don't be next to the boss when he spawns. And also, you can use an Ignite Charm in that fight if you want to. Make sure that when you're putting charms on your guy, you actually leave the trial, go to your hideout or the town or whatever, refill at the well, and then go back in. The other boss that's really annoying for basically picking damage, like, basically in the trial Sekhemas, whenever you get hit by an ignite or a poison or a bleed, it will tick down your honor the same as it would your health, so it's very, very bad. Like, it hurts super bad. I've actually lost just because of those. So on floor 3, when you get to that boss poisons, so make sure you put in a poison charm and fill it up at the well, and then you'll be totally fine. But yeah, basically the first floor, you're going to be wanting to get as much Sacred Water as you can. Try and hit a Merchant, trying to get some boons going, because floor 2 and 3, it's a little bit harder to do so, especially once you start stacking some Afflictions. Now, if you're playing melee, like the physical damage Affliction that you can get, or like take physical damage, this really doesn't hurt us at all. Like, as an armor-based character, you pretty much do this for free. So anytime I ever see them, I think I took one in this run too, like it'll give you a minor boon and you just take physical damage. This is, like, just exactly what you should take. Like, it does nothing to you, and you just get a free boon. All right, well, I'm just going to let this run play out, and, yeah, if you guys have any questions, just hit me up in the comments, but that's about it for this. I don't think I missed anything to talk about. But, yeah, Earthquake and Pin, super important. Hammer of the Gods on bosses. Pretty much just one-shot bosses. I'm doing, like, Hammer of the Gods bleed builds, so that's basically how I'm, like, one-shotting them. But, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
With may that serve you.
destruction! Meat creature! I'm not ready!
That was close. It burns! I knew you would succeed. Greetings. I shall aid you. On. May that serve you. desert.
Destruction!
That was close.
Come here!
A great challenge overcome. Relish your mortality.
Fortune favors me. I've nowhere to keep that.
I shall aid you. Go with, use that well.
Destruction! Need mana. No mana.
Swift magnificence.
In the right hands, this could forge something truly exceptional.
An oasis in the desert. desert.
Destruction!
Greetings. The choice is made. Go. This use that well.